Hey everyone, so this is going to be my ranking of all 4 Despicable Me movies. I want to preface this by saying 2 things. One, I'm not going to include either of the Minions movies in this list because I watched them a long time ago. I haven't rewatched them, and they're technically spin-offs, and when another Minions movie or another Despicable Me movie comes out, I'll definitely put those in the ranking, but for now, I'm just going to do the 4 mainline Despicable Me movies. And the second thing is, I didn't grow up watching these movies. I know I was already a little bit older when some of them came out, but I never really watched them. In fact, the only movie I've actually ever seen before doing this rewatch of all of them is the first one. So I went into all of these having never before seen them except for the first one, and this is my ranking of all of them. So in last place, we have Despicable Me 4. Now, Despicable Me 4, it's not atrocious by any means, it's not bad, but out of all 4 movies, it easily has the weakest villain, it has the weakest plot, and I think it's the most just average overall. There's some funny moments, especially between him and his now new baby, and by him I mean Gru. I think Gru's the star of all 4 of these movies. If he wasn't as good as he is in these movies, they would be a lot worse. But yeah, Despicable Me 4, I thought it was pretty cool. Gru and Lucy, when they're together, is always the best parts of these movies, but they're separated the entire film, so it just doesn't have that same emotion that the other ones have, and the story is just a bit lackluster overall. He makes friends with the new neighborhood girl who wants to become a villain. It was just whatever to me. So overall, this one, it wasn't super memorable to me. There was some good music, but overall, kind of last place for sure. Now, coming in third place, we have Despicable Me 3. And this one had some really fun moments. I really liked the dynamic between Gru and Drew. His brother's pretty funny. And altogether, I think this one, the pace is pretty solid. It doesn't drag, but it's not too quick. It just isn't as memorable as the first 2. And a problem with some of these Despicable Me movies is that the villains are a little bit weak. And while Balthazar Brat is not the worst villain in the series, he definitely doesn't stand out above the rest. And for that reason, this one kind of just falls in the middle for me. Not the best, not the worst. Now, coming in at number 2, I have Despicable Me 2. And this is where Lucy comes into the mix. And I think she's a great addition to the franchise. I think she's really funny. I think her and Gru have a good dynamic with each other. And you could tell that Lucy really cares for the girls. And that's explored later in the later 2 films, which I think is some of the best parts of those movies. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I like that Gru is becoming more of an anti-villain. He's becoming more of a hero. He still has some villainous traits to him, but he's not a bad guy anymore, and he's trying to stop these villains. And I really like the whole hotel aspect of this one, or sorry, not the hotel, the mall aspect of this one, where there's a bunch of different villains, and he's trying to figure out who's who. And I like the spy aspects of this movie. I think it's pretty fun. Coming in at number 1, though, easily is the first Despicable Me. It's slick the way cartoon spy movies like The Incredibles are. It's a great looking movie. Not to mention, it's just a very emotional movie about fatherhood and about becoming the person you want to be. And I think the end of this movie, where he makes the book for the girls, is incredibly sad and actually one of the more profound moments throughout all 4 of these films. This is easily the movie with the most heart and the most raw emotion, while also being extremely fun, having a really funny villain, and having just a good story that flows nicely. It's not too slow, but it's not so fast where you don't get any plot lines. It's just a perfectly made film, and I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I would give it a 9 out of 10, though, because I actually think, in the grand scheme of a lot of animated movies, it's one of the best out there. So thank you, everyone. That has been my ranking of all 4 Despicable Me films. Let me know what you think down in the comments, what your favorites are, what your least favorites are, or if you want to just rank all 4 from worst to best, let me know. I'd be excited to read those comments, and I'll talk to you guys soon.